Squirrel. Oh, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel.
That's not what I said.
Squirrel Festival.
I did not say Squirrel Festival.
You said Squirrel Festival.
I said Spur Festival.
Well, welcome to the Hug Life Podcast. I'm Monica Nevi.
Did you? Yeah. God damn it. You're so dumb. I mean, you're great.
Yeah, you're great.
You're great.
Don't ever change.
I'm Mike Coletta.
I'm Monica Nevi, but you guys knew that already. You can tell by my voice. You guys good now.
Welcome to the Hug Life Podcast, apparently. Didn't know. It's real
I'm just
sneaky
jumping
today,
you right into the podcast gang.
That's good. Good. You got to be ready around
I'm going
here.
to plug my shows first. Is that cool?
Fine.
All right. I'm going to be the day... Well, that's not going to happen. The day this comes out, I'm nowhere. I got a birthday party. I'm actually going to be at a country music festival
in Darrington,
in
Washington.
Darrington. Is it a bluegrass festival in Darrington or
No.
country? It's country.
Country and rock. That's
On
what
Saturday.
I looked at.
If you guys are
It's called
into
the
that,
Spur Festival, not the Squirrel Festival.
I'm in the Squirrel Festival. There's so many squirrels.
I think I'm in the wrong place. I was supposed to go to the Squirrel Festival.
I thought there's no squirrels
I thought
playing
there'd be
banjos.
way more squirrels here.
There's no squirrels playing banjos. I brought all my finest squirrels, and my car is just rattling full of squirrels. That's where I'm at on Saturday.
Your finest squirrels. I want to know how you differentiate between.
Well, some aren't ready for show
you're
yet.
Really good. Step your game up.
It's
okay, squirrel.
I'm in a youth squirrel 4-H program.
Hey, squirrel.
Yo, squirrel. Simply the best. And then July 2nd and 3rd, I'm going to be hosting at Laughs Comedy Spot in Kirkland, Washington for Andrew Rivers and Scoot Loose. Scott Lassie will be there. Both people who've been on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Would you look at that?
It's like a little hug.
And it's going to be a fun time. It's just
eventually
like fun
we're just
friends.
going to talk about anyone in Seattle and be like, oh, they've been on the
They've
podcast.
been on the podcast. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. So that's my dates. The Bonds, hit me. What do you got?
This Friday, I will be at the Squirrel Festival in Darrington.
Because we couldn't be on the same squirrel show, or else it would be too nutty.
What? Was that
Squirrel
a word?
show would be too nutty.
Oh, too nutty. I was like, what are you saying?
Because it's a nut.
I had something. I have a birthday party on Saturday. No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
Do
I
you
just
want a
have
birthday party?
something
I'll throw you a surprise.
else on Saturday.
Surprise.
So I'll throw you a surprise. You can't tell me.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I'm not very
whatever.
good at it.
Anyways,
I was never
I'll
good at
be doing
surprise
that at 9 p.m. So if you're at the Spur Festival, come and see Mike and I do some jokes in between people that are
on Friday and Saturday.
talented.
So yours is at night. I gotta leave in the morning on Saturday to get there. Apparently.
Well, yeah, I'm going driving by
early.
myself.
You're driving by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
Unless a hug bug wants to come with me.
Squirrels. I mean, I could go with you, and then I could just be like,
hang out.
And I can hang out and be like, oh, I got to do this tomorrow. That's what it would be like.
Really psych yourself up.
Did you do this because I chose this? Like, you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, because I'm like, I don't see myself ever performing at a country music festival.
Yeah,
ever again.
it's one of those things that's probably going to suck.
But
you
doing
know,
it for the life experience.
Good, yeah. But also, we had another show that was supposed to be on that Friday. And then it got canceled. So I was like, sure, I don't have anything now.
Well, it got moved.
Well, yeah, whatever. But I can't do the new date.
I know.
So it's going to suck.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be there. It's still going to suck, though.
I'm
It's
just
okay.
kidding.
I'm just kidding.
And then July 4th, I'm doing the Gateway Show at Jai Tai.
You are smoking weed on America's birthday?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. That's a good way to celebrate
Is it the birthday or the Independence?
Day of Independence is kind of like America's
is that
birthday.
Different?
It's kind of like America's birthday.
When you're born, are you independent? Doesn't matter. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Come see me get super weird on stage.
I'm going to release squirrels into the audience.
When I'm high, because that is going to get real fucked up.
It's going to be the best day of
Do
your
you
life.
guys see squirrels? What the fuck?
Do I hear squirrels in here? Ah! Do you replace girl with squirrel in songs?
Oh, yeah.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
That's what it came from. But a squirrel festival is way cooler than a spur festival.
I would like to know what that would be like. Like,
Just-
what else about squirrels do you...
I'm so sick of all these stands that serve roasted nuts. That's like all they serve there.
That's all it
There'd
is.
be no hot dogs, no elephant ears. I picture this country festival to be very much like ground covered in beauty bark, and you're
Oh.
walking around, and there's a lot of hats, and there's a lot of cowboy.
Yeah, I'm
It's
assuming
also
there's
really
going to
hot
be
this
some
weekend.
cowboy attire.
Cowboy butts drive me nuts.
Squirrel nuts?
Squirrel nuts.
Cowboy butts drive my squirrel nuts?
Drive my squirrel nuts. That sounds even worse than the original phrase.
Come on.
Come on, what? Oh, it didn't even register on the headset. No one
Well,
would have known.
whatever. It's the courtedy of us spending time together for an hour a week and you needing
Looking
to
into
be
each other's
present. You
eyes.
didn't even turn it off. It just did it again.
It did? I can't hear it. And it doesn't show up on the podcast. So my phone's jingling because I started a group text before I started a podcast because I'm a dum-dum.
Take the boobs off your head.
Take the boobs off my head?
Yeah, your cans.
Take off my cans. They're off. You got.
I do want to take a moment to give a shout out to Olympia for
Shout
crushing
out.
it.
That was in my thing already.
Oh, sorry.
I was in there. It was fine. No, you
I'm
keep
sorry.
going, dear. It's natural. I was gonna tell people.
Well,
to rate
I was
reviews and
there
subscribe to the
twice.
podcast on iTunes.
Yeah, that.
Just do
They
that.
should know that.
They should know that by now. We say it every single time.
Review. Give us something to be
Dick
happy
us
about.
down.
Dick us down. At the same time.
She's drinking Mountain Dew. That's why we said that.
Diet Mountain Dew.
Inside podcast jokes that sound really dirty.
Whatever. Yeah, no, I had a fun show in Olympia on Thursday, but then we had a really fun show, I thought, on Saturday.
Oh, you were great.
You were great.
We were all great.
I haven't, I don't know. It was nice to see you a little loose, and I felt like you did a great job. It felt like we were in a living room, kind of.
It did feel like a living room. There were four
like
very
your uncle
much
who'd
living
been
room
drinking
chairs.
too much during the day.
Come to a show at my house!
Was wearing a vest with no shirt for some reason.
Dude, that guy was really cool. I gave him a hug during the show.
He did. He put the microphone down and gave him a hug. It was beautiful.
It was, okay.
But you did really, really well.
Thank you.
And I enjoyed watching it. That's what I wanted to tell
watched
you.
you too, and I enjoyed it just as much.
I watched you too.
I watched you too. But not like during the show, like when you were in the car, I was just staring at you when you weren't looking. You know.
Yeah, that's good. You were
It's a high school,
you were
high school
driving.
Mike move. I know look Fast and Furious to you. I just made eye contact with you for 3 hours on the ride home and just like,
turn your head
are
whenever I
we
look
safe?
over.
What's happening?
Are we safe?
Really steady hands
Anyways,
driving.
Olympia, hats off to you.
Great time. Oli Underground, cool bar.
Yeah, it was a really cool place, actually.
And
Not underground, though, so
not
don't be,
underground.
don't be confused.
It's very much above ground. There are giant bay windows.
Yes. There's a lot of light.
And then we did the Voyeur
Yeah.
Sam Miller show. That was fun.
Thanks, Sam Miller, for letting us come and do a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm. That was in a cool place, too.
Yeah, interesting place.
And like the way back of a bar. Like that bar stretched farther back than I ever thought it would.
Yeah, I was like, this is a small
This is
place.
a long bar.
And I don't see anybody.
They call it the Voyeur
Whoa.
for a reason.
Why?
Because I think it looked like it might have been an old peep place. Does it seem that? Did it feel that way to you?
You say peep place?
Yeah, like
Oh.
a peep show place.
Yeah, because they would put a show on in the back maybe and you couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell.
Because there is a stage there.
Yeah.
Like
and
an
it's
actual stage. There's also a sharp spin in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Just staying prepared. I was like, Jesus.
Make sure you recycle your old needles. Is it a recycling thing? Is that why
Just
they do it?
recycle.
Because they want to
I'm just
recycle
gonna
them?
clean this and use it for another
You
one.
can just clean it up and use it again.
I don't know. I think it's to protect people from accidentally stabbing themselves with a dirty needle
Yeah.
or stepping on it.
You know
or
what will
something.
never stab you with a dirty needle? Our Facebook page. You should like our Facebook page.
Whoa! See what we did there? We actually planned that
We
out
did.
completely. That
Like,
whole
We wrote that
Segue.
for 4 hours and then performed it right now. Performed
it.
in a living room.
and thank you. That's been my time.
Have a good night, everybody. All right, Code Night You Live. Next, we have the Elephant Room. Elephant. What's that other one we did? Elephant Crossing.
What other one we did? The podcast?
Yeah, I was
No.
trying to think of another podcast and I just said there. Good plug, Mike. We have Off
Yeah.
Speed. You got to
why
plug
would
Off
you-
Speed.
Off speed.
Yeah.
Rutledge's, maybe.
Speaking of sports, did you see the end of the U.S. Open?
I did.
Did you see how heartbreaking? That's really annoying. You're right. I didn't even know the noise was on. I thought the noise was off. I'm so sorry. Did you see how heartbreaking that was
Yes.
for that dude, that
Mhm.
American dude?
Mm-hmm.
I felt really bad for him.
I like his swing. My
Dustin
dad
Johnson?
Likes, yeah, my dad likes his swing too. It's very straight.
It's
Up.
very straight.
Straight up and down.
Very
Anyways,
pendulum.
But, you know, young guy winning two.
in majors in a row. That's why I felt
Yep.
happy. But at the same
It's
time, you're
good.
like,
I actually really wanted Jason Day to win.
Fainty McGee?
Mm-hmm. Fainty McGee.
I don't think
yes.
they call it. I don't
Oh,
think
Fainty McGee
I don't
over
think he
here. He
likes
didn't
it.
faint. He was just dizzy, so he laid
He had-
down.
Hello,
got
vertigo.
Rough.
Can we please go vertigo?
It's terrible.
He listens to too much U2 and then he gets dizzy.
Well, he's Australian.
Yeah. That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Anyways, I like him.
I liked him too, actually. It was funny to, well, it wasn't funny. Okay, this is the thing. I have friends that are big fans of Tiger Woods still.
Really?
And that man has fallen from grace.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's just let it go. You know?
We gotta let
Let's
it go.
just let him quietly slip out.
Slip out into the night.
Yeah.
Because he had the best 10 years of golf anyone has ever
Yeah,
had.
and that's a long time.
It is a long time. So I'm like, it just sucks. But this is the thing that was bothering me about it is the professional players, after they were done, were complaining about the course.
Right.
And I'm like, you're professional golfers and you're complaining that the course is too hard. That's like, oh, they're way better than basketball at me. I can't play in the NBA like this. Like, it makes no sense to me. I'm like, this is your job. Just go do it.
I didn't like that. However, I would say that the greens didn't look great on TV.
No, they did not. Yeah.
and they said it was supposed to look like that, and I was like, yeah, I think you're lying, but that's fine.
I just love the word fescue. I had not seen fescue said that much. I was like, that's an amazing word. But yeah, the big thing for me was everyone's like, that has got to be heartbreaking, like his putting at the very end, the way he lose it. But I was at the same time just kind of like, he is like a professional golfer. I can't sympathize with professional athletes. I have a hard time because I'm like, you're doing what you wanted to do. This is what you want to do in your life. Yes, well, and especially with golf, like you get second, you still make a fuck ton of money.
Like even if you just make it to the fucking second.
I think they said there's a $10 million purse going out to everyone, and I'm pretty sure. Look, I actually need to look this up because
I don't even get it.
They were saying, purse breakdown for the 2015 U.S. Open. See, it's already on a Google thing. But they were saying you get money out, like to like 100th place or something crazy.
Yeah,
like
it goes
that.
way down.
It goes,
and it's a lot.
Down.
Like it's
So okay, first you get $1.8 million. Okay. Second, you get $1 million. So Dustin Johnson got $1 million.
Right.
Okay. Then third gets $674,000. So it's crazy. Okay. And it's doing the fucking plug-in thing. Oh my God! Just let me scroll down. I just want to scroll down, and it's not letting me do it. Up to 14th place gets $173,000. I'm trying to scroll down.
Six figures. You don't even have to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Not that that's not like an easy thing. 14th is still really fucking good for a PGA tournament, but
it's crazy. I tried to look that up, and my computer is really crapping out on me today to the point where it makes me kind of nervous for the quiz. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I'm getting into golf more, just watching it and enjoying it and like respecting it for how hard it is, and that really messed me up a little bit. I think that guy getting really sad. I'm just like, I don't feel bad for him because everyone's like, you gotta feel bad for that. I'm like, I don't feel bad.
Well, here's the thing about golf. Like, yeah, it came down to that one shot, but I'm sure he could go back to a bunch of different holes and be like, you know what, if I had a different shot on this, it's still one stroke.
Yeah, it's a big what
so
if. It's a whole game.
You can go back through your all 18 holes and be like, well, if I did this differently, like instead of just that one shot. So, and they made it fun to watch. Like it was. All the top guys were really close. It switched around a lot on that last day.
I actually thought it was cool that it was hard. Like I thought that was really way cool.
It was long. The course is long apparently, so it was a lot of walking. But it was interesting to watch.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. Anyway, that's the one topic that is nothing like any other topic we're going to talk about today on the podcast.
So if you're bored with it,
don't worry. The golf segment is over. So. I wrote down Olympia, a good kind of drunk, to describe the audience because that's what they were. Because they were drunk, but they were like, have at you drunk. They were
Hug Life drunk, where they were very positive.
They were super
like,
positive.
Yes. I had a woman. She raised her hand in the middle of my set.
Very courteous.
Are you raising your hand? Yes. She's like, her name's Monica too, and it's her birthday. And I was like, yeah, remember, she's number 2, not number 1. I needed to keep talking. Thank you. No, it was just so random, and I was like, well, happy birthday. Like, it was. That's
a hard time thing when you do stand-up, is people think that when they're drunk, it's just universally bad. But I'm like, that was actually kind of good. That was nice.
And it's still fun for us. I just always feel bad for the rest of the audience who's like, yeah, we really don't want to listen to these drunk people talk anymore. And so.
Because there are people that are like, you're so drunk.
Yeah. Well, everybody else, there was like a really fun audience. It wasn't like huge, and they were really good. Like it still like sounded really good because they were just a good audience.
I really thought they were great, and I actually had a good time. Have you ever seen a comedian like shit on a crowd that was drunk nice like that? It hurts you a little bit.
Yeah,
because they're just like, I feel like a lot of people's natural instinct is to attack, and I'm like, you shouldn't attack.
Right. Well, and that's what I think. Both of us were like, okay, we want you to stop talking, but I also like don't want you to be mad at me. I don't want to be mean to you. Yeah.
Because I told them to politely shut up, and I'm like, this feels weird now. Let's just bring it in.
Let's just bring it in.
Let's just do this.
He did, and they liked it.
Problems. It was nice. It was a good hug, too. He was very forceful.
Oh, are we having a conflict? Let me sweat on you real quick.
That's how I solve all situations. Let me sweat on you real quick. I just wrote that down. That
might be the title. Okay.
Okay. The main topic of the podcast today is... it's pretty. Oh my God, the quiz is not fucking working for me on my laptop, and I don't know what's happening.
I will say that I have possibly already taken this quiz a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah, in my free time. So.
Oh, well, that's nice. I can load it on my phone too. So the topic today is, well, we have two things. I guess it's more crime oriented. This is a crime podcast.
Crime podcast.
Crime podcast.
Crimecast.
Crimecast. Podime. Podrime. Prime. It's a prime.
Primecast.
Primecast. Podcast.
Okay,
podcast.
we can be done with it.
Nope, not done.
Not done.
Prodcast.
Broadcast? Probecast. Here we go.
Oh, gosh, this got weird. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a charity that I told you about on the phone.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
And it's kind of weird because this is like, we talk about a lot of charities, I feel like, and we always are behind them. And this is one of those ones that I don't know personally if I'm 100% behind it.
Yeah, I could see how people wouldn't be.
Yeah, and at the same time, I also feel like I shouldn't have an opinion on it as a dude.
As a dude or as just someone who isn't necessarily affected by the same thing?
As a dude, but also as someone that's insanely not qualified to talk about this.
Okay.
Which makes it a perfect podcast.
Yes, well then let's just dive right in,
So the charity we're talking about, I heard about this charity, I got to give credit where credit's due, on a podcast called Radio Lab that I love, and it blew my mind. And I don't think we're going to be recycling a lot of what they said on this, obviously. We're just going to talk about what we think about it, so it's different.
So it's different.
It's called,
because we know
But
nothing.
we talk about charities a lot on the show, so this is particular. It's called Project Prevention. It was formerly called Children Requiring a Caring Community, or CRAC.
Caring Community is that...
Community was with a K. I don't know. I think they really just wanted it to be called CRAC.
Yeah.
It's a nonprofit, and this is what they do. They pay drug addicts cash for volunteering for long-term birth control, including sterilization. So this whole charity is there to prevent specifically women, I'm pretty sure it's only women, from having like crack babies, essentially.
Does it? Okay, so if a dude is on crack or some type of addict, does that affect the pregnancy if she's not? Yeah.
I don't know. It depends, because I mean that would mean that the drugs are affecting the man's sperm, and I don't think that really gets affected, because sperm are remarkably resilient. Yeah, actually, because they also
you have one job.
You're constantly like making them too all the time. So like if there's like a junk batch, you just throw it away. That sounds weird. And but yeah, so I think it's really the woman. Like if this is the woman,
well, because if you're gonna carry a baby and also be on drugs,
doing drugs while you have a baby and all that stuff. And it was founded by a woman named Barbara Harris, and the reason she founded it is because her and her husband adopted the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th children of one drug-addicted mother.
Oh, wow.
Like, they adopted the first child from this mom that was addicted. The baby was addicted to heroin, I think.
Ugh.
And then they found out she had another one, and they adopted that one, and they found another one, because they wanted to keep the family together. So, but then she started this group, and I don't know if it's working. I don't know how to say if it's working. But as of October 2011, the organization has paid and essentially either sterilized or given like IUDs to 3,848 women.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a lot. Where is this out of?
This is out of it's out of California. Okay. But I don't know if it started in California. I guess it is based, but it was based in California, and now it's based in North Carolina. But yeah, so this woman founded it, and because she was just tired of it. And this, I mean, the big political arguments behind this, I guess, of what you're doing is you're solving, I guess you could say, a result of this problem without actually solving the problem. Like you're giving a woman money.
It's a side effect of a deeper issue.
Yeah, you're giving a woman money to have her sterilized so she doesn't have children, but then that woman's going to use that money to probably buy more drugs.
Right, but in reality, if you could let her continue to have children, hoping that she would figure out how to stop doing drugs, but then not doing it, then you have, 5, 6.
Yeah, way worse.
All those kids that are affected.
Yeah.
That are just going to be screwed up, basically.
See, in my twisted, sick, and trying to think of it as a logical brain, I think this is all right.
Right.
But at the same time, what my whole thing is why would I ever have an opinion on this? Like, why do I need my opinion on this? You don't need it. I've never been in this aspect of, like, society.
It's not going to be an issue for you.
Exactly. It's never going to be an issue for me.
The thing that, like, is fine to me is that it's not like she's going around and forcing this on anybody.
Exactly.
They're making the choice, and I don't know, it takes a decent person to go, yeah, you know what? I can't fix this problem right now, but I know that I don't want it to affect other people. So sure, that sounds good. I just won't have babies. That's fine.
So I'm reading I'm reading the slogans I have. Would you like to hear some of the slogans?
Slogans, yes, please.
Don't let pregnancy get in the way of your crack habit.
Oh, okay.
That's one of them. This is why they have some controversy around them.
Okay.
She has her daddy's eyes and her mommy's heroin addiction. That's really...
I mean, it gets your attention, you know? It's not... It's decent. What is it? Shock marketing? Is that a real thing? I may have made that up.
Also, the Barbara Harris has said, and this is an exact quote, "We don't allow dogs to breed. We spay them, we neuter them, we try to keep them from having unwanted puppies, and yet these women are literally having litters of children." So you see where she got some problems, because she just compared crack addicted women
I
to
feel like
dogs.
The best option for them would have been for her to start this organization and then pick someone else as their spokesperson, because she's angry about it now. Like it touches her, you know, like personally. And so when you're trying to sell it to people who maybe aren't on board yet, and you're like, no, fuck, I'm angry. They're idiots, basically, is what it sounds like she's saying. She's like, these women are stupid. They're just going to do drugs. So let's make sure they're not going to make more of them. Yeah. I feel like there's just a nicer way to say those things, but I don't think she's out of line. Like, I think it's... You think it's
admirable?
Not... I think it's... I mean it's not... I think her intention is positive, obviously.
Yeah. And by the way, when we say sterilized, I should say tubes tied. That's what it is. It's not like... That's what they meant by sterilization.
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure... Is that a reversible surgery?
I don't know.
I thought it was.
I've heard of people accidentally getting pregnant even after they've
I've heard it's not.
Is a vasectomy reversible though?
I thought of vasectomy.
I think
of vasectomy, and I feel like getting your tubes tied is reversible. Do you want me to Google that real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Does that mean fun Google searches on my computer?
I hope someone steals your computer and it just says, "Can you reverse your tubes tied?"
Dude, that's the second thing. Is female sterilization reversible?
Oh, on what? Just any search? It's real popular search today.
Google.
It's like U.S. Open is female sterilization.
Of course, we're going to read. Yes, WebMD says yes. The procedure can be reversed with fallopian tubes being reconnected, because that's what they do. Is they cut, tie, or disconnect fallopian tubes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think people think of the word sterilized and they think of some sort of Game of Thrones crazy shit.
Well, and that's the other part is that she's and just like, we're just gonna cut it out. And that's just one option if she's still, you know, providing birth control or IUDs or whatever.
Yeah, IUDs.
Like they're still having the opportunity to maybe get themselves together before they make a decision to have a kid, which is
if I remember the policy
them up
correctly.
For something better.
If I remember the policy correctly, it's like if you haven't had a kid, they'll give you an IUD that lasts like 2 or 3 years. Oh. And if you have had a kid, they will pay for you to have your tubes tied.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the...
Can I not be addicted and have them pay for my tubes?
Choices have been made!
Yes.
So I guess they say their main goal is to promote awareness of dangers of using drugs during pregnancy.
Okay.
That's like here's some statistics
Again, I
from their
think
website.
there's some other, maybe other marketing ways to do that, but
yeah. So this is these are some stats as of April 2015 on the Project Prevention website. Total paid addicts / alcoholics 5,364.
Holy shit!
So the number's gone way up since 2011. 2,000. That's a lot of people. Ethnicity and race breakdown.
Okay, that's.
The biggest majority of women that have had this procedure has been white, 3,206, wow. Black, 1,096, Hispanic, 612, other, 450. I think they're putting that stat out there because when this first came out, she was called like racist.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
especially with that
called
comment.
Crack, but
yeah.
It sounds like because it said, alcoholic, addict, like they're not just breaking it down by a drug. It's any addiction, like... that's going to affect your pregnancy is what it sounds like.
And this is the type of birth control chosen. They have this broken down, so this is pretty interesting. Tubal ligation, which I'm pretty sure is getting your tubes tied, is 1,757. Implanon? What is that?
That would...
Is it like the arm implant thing?
I would assume it's like an IUD or...
513. IUD is 1,897, so most of them are actually IUDs.
Mm-hmm.
Depo-Provera, 1,059, but it says in quotes, in parentheses, we no longer pay for this method. Norplant, 38. Vasectomy, 138.
So there are guys that are getting it.
Yeah, I think there are. That's something
not as
interesting
many,
to talk
obviously,
about.
but...
Yeah, but like I think it's mostly ladies.
Interesting.
Yeah. But then they have a bunch of news stories. Addicts in Honolulu get paid to be sterilized.
So she's just going around the country just peddling her birth control.
Yeah. So this is the thing is I don't know. This is a very I don't know, what would the word be? Dicey? Controversial charity. But if you go to projectprevention.org, you can learn more about it. Projectprevention.org.
Project Prevention.
I'm Wilford Brimley in Project Prevention. And you can donate and they have more information. I just thought it was a very interesting charity. Like we haven't really delved into any charity like this before.
Right, yeah.
Which is why I wanted to talk about it because it seems kind of totally off what our normal...
Right. Well, I think it's interesting that they do a good job of kind of like, here, this is where this shit is going. You know what I mean? Like, this is actually the people that we've helped. When you hear another charity that maybe isn't as controversial as that, you're like, here, yeah, take it. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're using it for cancer or whatever. And you don't actually know, like, what specifically they're using it for. But these people have had to basically stand up for what they're doing and be like, no, this is real. This is what we're doing. So you actually kind of know more about this, I think, than you would about some of the other things that you're donating to.
Yeah. And
I tell you to donate to.
There's a... They actually have on their FAQ, why aren't you spending money on drug treatment? So here's their answer. In 1997, the United States spent $11.4 billion on alcohol and drug-related treatment services. While this is not nearly enough to assist every addict in need, it is a problem that is at least addressed to the tune of billions of dollars. Project Prevention offers drug treatment referrals to all women that enter our program. Further, we have gone to great lengths to assist some individuals into treatment or to locate a treatment program for them. So they know they don't do that, but they point you in the right direction.
Right.
However, our main goal is to ensure that addicts and alcoholics are using long-term birth control until they are able to care for the children they get. So they're really saying we're about the children. That's what we're all about.
Yeah. So. Which I think is, I think that's great. And that part, like, treatment very rarely works, especially the first time. So I think that, especially for an acute issue like having children that aren't going to be cared for properly, this does make sense.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like, I don't know. I think they do treatment wrong most of the time. So it's a statistic that like 1 out of 10 people that goes into treatment will like be sober. Like 9 out of 10 relapse.
Yeah.
That's like it's pretty low, guys.
Pretty low.
Maybe we should.
It's pretty low stat, guys.
Yeah.
Pretty low.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Like I can honestly say I don't know if I donate to this just because I still am on the fence.
Yeah.
But I just thought it would be a good thing to talk about because it seems interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would. Yeah, that's a better question, I guess. Would I donate?
Would you donate?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I could. I don't know. In my head right now, I'm like, I could totally see why someone would support that.
Yeah.
I could see why people would question it as well, but. You know, it's also not something that is super pressing to me. Even I work with kids and I have a couple kids who like their mothers really were on drugs while they carried them. And they're, in all cases that I have, mom went to treatment, got it figured out, been sober for like 7-8 years, is around, like the kid definitely has behavior issues and like home life is not as functional as someone who wasn't in that situation, but you know, they figured it out. So it's not something that's necessarily like pressing to me where I'm like, oh, we have to do something about this. I need to donate to something. But if I lived somewhere else or if I was in her situation where, you know, I do deal with parents like that all the time, then yeah, that would probably be.
I'm also different because I'm also very like I'm super pro Planned Parenthood and like birth control for everyone. Yeah, everyone should have it. Let's rain condoms down on this wonderful country and world. I don't know. I just feel like again, it's one of those things where I'm just a dude and I don't really have a say. But I thought I should bring it up. It's super interesting. Now, ready to get to the meat of this? You ready to get the positive
Are you
spin?
ready for this?
I guess. I mean, I'm excited. I was really excited to talk about this because I asked you if you're cool talking about this.
Yeah.
The positive spin topic this week is prison/jail. 'Cause I say jail.
U.S. correctional
U.S.
system.
or yeah. So I guess I just thought about this, but like, yeah, over the last like 6 or 7, probably longer than that, like 10 or like, you could even say by America's Most Wanted, like people are obsessed with prison. There are so many shows on prison.
Yeah, people do want to see what's going on in there.
And like
or
lock
whatever.
up and like, I just remember the Scared Straight things as a kid where the
Yeah.
guys are just like yelling
The
and the
drill
kids are
sergeants
crying.
just yell in your face.
Yeah. Or the prisoners. There's this one Scared Straight where it's like totally uncensored too, and you're just like, they're saying this to children. You're like, what is happening? But yeah, as a person, a host of a podcast,
Are you pointing to me?
I'm pointing to you.
Okay. Like there's someone else who you're pointing at?
Because I don't know anything about prison.
I've been to jail.
Yeah,
is what
Monica,
Mike is
that's what I'm trying to say. Yep,
I've
that's
been
what I'm
to
trying to
jail.
say.
Yes. Yeah, what's your question after that?
Well, I don't know. Jail's different than prison. It's completely different.
That's true. But I will say that after I got out of jail, I was very frustrated with the system because there was women in there that were there for up to like 60 days in jail. Jail is different than prison in that you stay in that room. You do not leave that room unless you like sign up for like work stuff that you can help with, but you get to leave for like an hour a day. That's it. And you make the shittiest food ever, which is really just trays that you warm up. Anyways, and there's a toilet in there in the middle of the room, not like hidden anywhere. And then there's a shower in there. You change your uniforms like once every 2 days. And that's it. And you're always in there. And when I say that's it, that's it. Like the guards, you see them to check that you're in there. They don't help you figure out what you're doing next. They don't help you, like, there's no correction is what drove me crazy. Like, everyone I was in there with had already been in there before. One had been to prison for 2 years prior for something, like, very similar to what she was in for that time. And that was really frustrating to me. I was like, you're literally using it just as, like, punishment. And there's no, like, okay, what are we going to do now to change the way you're doing this? If we're going to let you out, like, I'm thinking about it like my kids. Like, if I'm going to let you go back and play with everyone, are you going to be able to treat everybody nicely and follow the rules kind of thing? And if not, then we have to keep you in here. Like, that's how that works. But nobody's helping them. And it was, like to the point where, so there's 3 girls in there with me. 2 were in for... Well, actually, all 3 were in for a drug-related offense, but 1 was also a prostitute. And they, like, 1 had talked about wanting to, like, get clean and, like, not, do drugs anymore. She's ready for that. She wasn't before, but she is now. When I got there, they had all just done heroin that the hooker snuck in. Like, what the fuck is happening? How do you not notice that, 1? And 2, like, that's how much attention they're paying. They're just like, whatever, you guys are pieces of shit. You stay in that room. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it was just blowing my mind. Like, what the fuck is happening? Nothing. You can't work out, which I think is a really weird thing. You can just walk around in circles around the metal picnic table that's in the middle of the room. Dude. It was just a weird, I mean, like, I thought about it far more than maybe other people do, but like I talked to them and like they really liked me and we all got along, and it like I totally understood like how you would make those mistakes. Like we all did. Like, yeah, I made a mistake, that's why I was in there, and they made mistakes, that's why they were in there. But there's like, it's getting out of that cycle that is just not happening. And that's the thing, and it happens all the time. That's why the day that I got out of jail, the whole Eric Gardner thing happened, and that like just sent me into this weird mind space where I was like, he's the same thing. Like, he had all these very minor offenses for like selling cigarettes and stuff like that, but nobody's helping him like figure out how not to do that or providing him opportunities how like to do anything else. So then he gets in trouble for something very small and you fucking kill him. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I was just like, I don't know. It's I know there's not a positive spin on jail, but it's like those are the real things that's like very frustrating.
That's kind of the big question I have with this whole thing is we're going to see if there is a positive spin on jail. And there is
but it's not in this country. And I'm going to tell you more about that later.
Okay,
I read something a long time ago that I remember today that I wanted to share about this. I figured eventually we were going to hit to this, and I read this article that was really interesting, and we're going to talk about it at the very end because it's the only good thing I've ever seen about a prison. And we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's not all going to be bad.
And prison is different as well. And I can't speak to, how much you're being helped while in there. You have more time. Maybe they're providing different opportunities for them. What I know about prison is basically what I've seen on TV shows, what I heard from the people I was in jail with, or, Orange is the New Black, which is just a lot of lesbian sex. So I don't know. That's what it sounds like.
Great show.
But I've experienced at least a little bit of it firsthand, and I don't know if you have ever had a conversation.
I've never been. I'm trying to think because my mom volunteered at a prison when I was a kid, and she would just tell me stories about it. But she'd tell me things about it that I thought were cool, like how they figured out how to turn Walkmans and CD players into tattoo machines. I was like, oh, that's very innovative.
That's very innovative.
I never heard the really
got some time on your hands.
She was helping as a tutor or something. I don't know, something along those lines. But I've never been, no, and I've never experienced it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, because I was having a conversation with the hooker while she was audibly taking a shit in the middle of the room. That was fun.
It's always awkward.
She was telling us the story of how she got caught that time. Because she had been to jail before, and it was basically she was shooting up in her foot while sitting in the front seat and passed out like that. So her foot's on the steering wheel, and she passes out like that. And then he comes up and knocks on the window. The cop comes up and knocks on the window. She knows what's happening because this has happened before, and she just goes, hey, can I smoke a cigarette first? That's all she said. And she thought it was funny. The whole story to her was really funny. And I'm the story is kind of funny, but the concerning part is that she thought it was funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, do you know what's happening?
Yeah.
And it's now you're so far trapped in this that I don't even know. She said one of the most profound and upsetting things as far as being a woman. She goes, yeah, I want to get a normal job, but I don't know how I can go to making $12, $15, $20 an hour when I can make $100 in 15 minutes. And I was like, that is very true. Also, you're skipping some steps with the whole $15, $20 an hour thing. And
probably be more
and two, that's upsetting that sure, yeah, probably one of the easiest ways to make money as a woman is to just fuck people that you don't know. And it's,
Yeah, I just find it weird, too, that everyone's obsessed with prison. There's a lot of people.
It is interesting.
And I've never been, I started watching, I watched, shows about prison, but I've never been, truly, people watch, those documentaries a lot, into them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm I think the more it feeds into that, the more it perpetuates the problem of having too many. We have the most prisoners of anyone out of our population percentage. It's crazy.
And that is because of that lack of opportunity and correction and prevention, really, because there's plenty of statistics that's going to tell you, who is going to be profiled into these situations, who is going to have a higher chance of getting in trouble later. So that's where you go. That's who you help first.
Yeah.
That's where you provide opportunities, and we're not doing it. And right fucking now, it's becoming very apparent that that's what's happening. And I don't really think you can fix the whole thing, but I think that's a good place to start, especially in I don't know. I guess I don't know what it's like to be in a male facility. There were dudes also in another cell where I was, but it that might be a different dynamic. Women did a pretty good job of being on each other's team. Nobody where I was well, I'm going to fucking kill you because I'm a badass. We were all oh no, we totally get it. They had kids that we were talking about. It was, I don't know. I don't know. I think guys could be the same. You would find some sort of camaraderie in your experiences.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't know much about it, but it is a big downer.
It's
a huge downer. But there's
Buzzkill.
So what's funny is I just had it up and then it crashed again. So everything's I'm just gonna use my phone because it keeps crashing, and I just want to talk to you about this.
You're gonna tell me about
this article first. Do you have one more anything?
Real
you want to say?
quick,
Okay.
just because there is like a big thing about prison reform now, and not decriminalizing, but going back about drug crimes and stuff like that. And I'm all for that. That's kind of where Orange is the New Black came from. That's why she wrote that book. She's all like
reform.
Piper Kerman in real life is like prison reform. That's like her
number one thing.
thing.
Well, yeah, and that's something that is interesting about this show is that it's getting into that now. Like it's getting into like the privatized prison thing.
Right.
This season,
they kind of put
really
it.
Interesting.
They're like, here, look, they're going down on each other, but here it also is a real fucking issue, and it's interesting that is. I don't know if it's going to make people pay more attention, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
You don't know. But I mean, so are you ready for the good? You ready for the
yes,
good news?
Yes.
I feel like we've done this is one of those things where it's like
we need a
you
good
can't
news.
do the negative for too long. Okay. So this is the story of a prison in Norway.
Okay. They're good at everything.
They really are.
That
like,
fucking the Scandinavian countries
yeah.
got it all down.
And it's called Halden Prison. And this is a New York Times article. Email the podcast and I'll give it to you. I'm just gonna put it out there. You gotta email if you really want it, or you could just type in Halden Prison New York Times and it would immediately pop up. So this place is different because this whole prison is meant to get people out of the system. Like that's what it was designed for. It was a part of a contest that someone won in the design of the prison. It's in the middle of the woods, but there's very much trees everywhere, and it's open, and there's just gigantic concrete walls. Like, that's what goes around it. All the buildings are only, 2 stories high because they want the prisoners to know the wall's there because you're still in prison. But the interesting thing about this is in Norway, there are no life sentences. The maximum you can get is 21 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So even the guy that shot up that summer camp and killed tons of people, he can only get 21 years in prison.
Wow.
Which is pretty mind-blowing, I feel like, from an American standpoint, where you're that person would go, executed 3 or 4 times over. Like, that's insane. So,
right.
But they let all the inmates live together in, dorm-like things. They cook, they clean with knives, they have all the, it looks like a dorm, essentially, and they're all living together. And some of the guys are like, "I'm here for murder." Some of the guys are like, "This, I'm here for this." They all, okay. And this is what's actually interesting too. Everything about this place is good. Halden runs to more. What was it? I just lost it. And spending on Halden Prison runs more than $93,000 per inmate per year compared to just... so they're spending more money on the inmates. They're spending $93,000, where the U.S. spends $31,000. But you save money by the fact that when they're out, the rate of them returning is so low.
That's
and they have pottery classes, and it seriously just looks like a summer camp. You look at it, look at that photo.
Oh yeah,
they're on a
playing
bench
cards on a bench.
They're
fantastic.
Just sitting there, and it's you see the wall, the big concrete wall in the background. That's that you're in prison, but there's also no guards with guns. There's all the entire prison guards, if you want to call them that, are amongst the inmates, just hanging out and talking to them, and they all have counseling experience, and they're all just
that's great.
There, it's and it's an experiment because not all the prisons in Norway are like this. This is one of the first prisons. So it says this might sound expensive, but if the United States incarcerated its citizens at the same low rate as Norwegians do, 75 per 100,000 residents versus 700 people per 100,000 residents are incarcerated in the U.S., it could spend that much per inmate and still save more than $45 billion a year.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's
good
just,
Lord.
If you want to feel shitty about
How's
the
that
American
debt
prison system, you could read this article, but you're also going to feel really good because they interview the prisoners. And I don't want to ruin everything, but it's just you can see how much different it is, and how they also go into the history about how this system was thought up 40 or 50 years ago, and it got turned down by some random thing that happened because of science that didn't have any basis, or studies that had no basis.
Fucking everything.
I guess studies that had no basis, and it's just great. So I mean, it's just it's not the end of the. It could get better.
But I think that's
could get better.
But that's understandable in that, again, when you're in prison or jail or whatever, you're learning how to live like that. But this seems like it could, promote you learning how to live as a normal person, because that's a fairly normal, like lifestyle, doing stuff for yourself and, being around other people in a more casual capacity, so that when you get out, like that's the biggest issue is when people leave prison, re-entering society, how fucking different it is. And then you've like got this whole mindset of like, well, I'm in prison and everybody's crazy and all this shit.
Yeah.
But then here you've already, maybe been, I don't know, taught that not everybody's crazy.
Yeah. The article is called "The Radical Humaneness of Norway's Halden Prison." Is what it's called. It's very interesting. I really like. I read it one day and I'm like, this is kind of a feel good article, which is something you wouldn't expect. Because I feel like if prisons now are a universally negative thing, but if you were doing what they were talking about with the corrections, it could become something extremely positive.
Yeah.
Which is so funny to me because right now it is probably the nightmare scenario for so many people.
Law enforcement in general right now is like the worst.
It's just like the worst thing in the world, but it could be like the best thing.
And
I
want to think that was the original idea. Like, okay, you are not fit to be with everyone else. We're going to take you over here and try to help you or keep you here until we think that it's appropriate for you to go back. But really it's just these amounts of time with nothing in between. And then they're like, oh, you're done. Here you go. And then you just kick you back out, and you're not helping with any real life stuff, man.
Real life scenarios that you need. But yeah, that was that. I mean, that was the thing I wanted to it's the positive outlook. Because I feel like we're trying to do this thing on this podcast where we take things that are really negative and positive, and sometimes we can't come out of the hole, but I feel like we need to leave it with it's gonna get, I feel like it can only go up from here. Right? There's
a couple of things where I'm like, something's
gotta get better,
get better, right?
But yeah, so I think that. And now we need to take this quiz, which you said you've probably taken before.
Yes, I love them.
But
Can we talk about the show for 10 seconds?
The show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you finish it?
No, I didn't finish it, but I mean, so the quiz today is which Orange is the New Black character are you?
I'm a big fan of the show, and I finished it in, a day.
I'm on
or
episode 8. It's really good.
good.
If you haven't watched it, there's some dudes I know that don't watch it because they say it's like a show meant for women, but I don't think it really is. I think it's just a show meant. It's about people more than anything, and all the characters are so interesting.
Yeah, well, and I will say the most frustrating part of this last season was personal relationships, and it drove me insane. So I can't even. It's not even like the prison part that I think is the most entertaining. However, they do throw some real shit in there. You know what I'm saying?
Am I right?
A lot of sex scenes. Do you know Taylor Schilling got injured during one of the sex scenes?
Taylor Schilling got injured?
Yeah. She went to take her shirt off, and the tag, the prison tag, scratched her face, cut it open. She was bleeding. I was like, yes, that's hilarious. It was funny because the interviewer, I was watching an interview, the interviewer was asking her oh, in this one sex scene, and she's like, wait, were we on a table, or were we on the ground? Or were we she was naming all these different sex scenes that they had, and she's like, I don't know. Were we in the library? No, okay.
Which one? Were
trying to narrow it down.
Where did we have sex in this scenario?
Right? Are we? Yeah, I know. Is she going down on me, or
what's happening?
Oh, God.
No, I really love the show. I actually fell in love with it that first season, but it's one of those shows that seems to be getting steadier, more and more, better and better as it goes along.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see how it ends this season. I've kind of been taking it, so I don't like to binge too much now.
It's definitely set up for season 4, and I know they started filming season 4, but it ends very not oh, cliff, you're coming down the cliff a little bit. It's you're way up at top of the cliff, and they're like, well, see you guys later. It's the worst.
It'd be so unfortunate.
Yeah, no, it's not good. Okay.
So, all right, you ready? So the quiz is, what Orange is the New Black character? I actually took this quiz earlier, and I was kind of upset with who I was, but I'm going to live with it.
Okay.
It wasn't one of the strong characters that I guess not strong necessarily, but that's the wrong word. But it's just one of my favorites. I wanted to be a favorite character. So the first one is pick a prison food. I picked. What should I pick? I picked
No.
Well, it's
Waffles.
PB&J,
I picked
waffles,
waffles,
carrots,
yeah.
fruit cup, rice and beans, mashed potatoes, ham sandwich, pie, none.
I picked waffles.
I will pick none.
Really?
Oh,
None of
yeah.
those sound appealing?
Have you? Never mind.
Oh, you have the prison food. What would you be arrested for? Being too smart, being too funny, being too fierce, keeping it too real, being too fab, being too romantic, being too high, releasing the animals in the zoo, or I wouldn't get arrested. See, I picked being too fab when I originally did the quiz, but I actually feel like I wouldn't be arrested. I'm such a goody two-shoes dum-dum.
You should go with
Yeah,
that.
that's what I
Goody
should do.
two shoes, dumb dumb.
I'm going to do that. So what did you
Being
choose?
too-
Releasing the animals in the zoo?
Yeah,
You just believe
maybe.
freedom?
Just doing something dumb, really.
What did you pick?
Releasing the animals in the zoo.
What would you buy at the commissary? Spices, a sweatband, moisturizer, flip-flops, candy bar, hair dye, floss, ramen, or makeup? I picked flip-flops.
Oh, for the shower.
I love a good pair of flip-flops, too.
You
That's
gotta
my
have
favorite
some
shoe.
shower shoes, you know?
You gotta have shower shoes.
I'm gonna go with ramen.
Spices?
Yeah, it's very random. Ramen.
Ramen?
Yeah, I like to have the
Which of these
snack.
would you use as a weapon? My intelligence, scissors,
Scissors.
my fists, a crucifix,
God.
blow dryer, lock in a sock, a smuggled knife, screwdriver, or my words? I said my words. That's what I picked.
Yeah, I mean,
I just don't see myself attacking it.
I wouldn't. How do you hit somebody with a blow dryer?
What about a lock in a sock?
Oh, your face is hot. That's pretty fucking aggressive. I would
A lock in
never.
a sock?
Yeah. I'm gonna say.
It's fun to say, though. A lock in a sock.
My words. I don't know.
By the way, this is one of those things that's also terrible. Is I find prison to be very funny at times, though, too. Like I find the idea of toilet wine to be one of the funniest concepts around.
Yeah.
Even though it's really dumb, I find it very funny.
It is funny.
Yeah. What would you want smuggled in? Alcohol, cigarettes, comic books, drugs, candy, hair curlers, vitamins, porn, or this week's New Yorker? I chose comic books. No
Comic
surprises.
books. I would choose. I don't know.
What are you going to choose, Monica? Drugs,
It's a
candy,
truffle.
hair curlers? I know how much you love having your hair curled.
I
It's
actually
always straight, if you didn't know.
seems random, but vitamins.
Vitamins?
Yeah.
Get that B6. Get that B12.
The
Vitamin C.
D.
No one's scurvy. Who would you call most often? Your best friend, your lawyer, a spiritual leader, your parents, an unrequited love, a doctor, your kids, a significant other, or no one? I said, actually, I said as a significant other, but I think I would actually probably choose my parents.
Yeah, I would definitely call my parents as much as I probably
Yeah.
wanted to call no one. But
Yeah, you call your parents.
it's embarrassing.
Ronnie, Pammy,
Hey guys, still in jail.
what's going on with you? What would you miss most from the outside world? Organic food, traveling, your BF/GF, family, a
Oh.
car, your neighborhood, beauty products, the arts, or the gym? I chose a car because that to me represents freedom the most.
Okay. I would choose family because that, to me, represents just other people.
And, fun parties. Bud Light family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pick a prison tattoo. This is like my favorite one.
Shit.
So we have a cool hot air balloon with an anchor, something written out. It looks like a poem. A heart dangling off a withering tree. What is that one on the bottom left? Like an Egyptian flower thing?
Yeah.
And then we got the Guy Fawkes mask. A cross. This is the one I chose. A sloth that says live slow, die whenever, which is the best. The name of a loved one or none?
I would go with the words. I like word tattoos.
And if they had one that said bad girls, I would have chosen it. But they didn't
yes.
have one on
Oh,
there.
I have that picture.
On movie nights, which movie would you want to watch? There's the 10 Commandments, Romeo plus Juliet, that's the Leo DiCaprio one, The Blind Side, Scarface, Eat, Pray, Love, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Juno, Bonnie and Clyde, or The Godfather. The Godfather's so long. I chose Juno because it's a fun comedy.
That's a fun comedy. I know. I feel like being in there, I'd want to watch something maybe uplifting.
Yeah.
But I also really like The Godfather, so
So you listen to The Godfather, you watch that?
probably go with The Godfather. There's family undertones in
Yeah,
that,
that's
you
nice.
know.
And then pick a prison outfit.
Jesus.
I got so into it. Orange jumpsuit, There's a gray jumpsuit. The classic black and white stripes. Is that lime green, you think, jumpsuit? Is that
Yeah.
what it is? You should do this
You
as
think?
colors. You should say
There's like a military green, striped orange and white, yellowish, and maroon.
I feel like I need to go classic black and white prison stripes.
Yeah, sure. I would go with the lime green one. Show off a little bit to my bright personality.
Guess what? I'm still the same
Are
person.
you fucking kidding?
Who are you? Wait, should I tell who I am?
Yes.
I hope we can get the same one. What if we got the same one?
I don't know.
I'm Daya.
Oh, no, we didn't get the same one.
You are quirky, cool, and always growing in confidence. People might not always understand you and your interest, but those who do inevitably come to love you. You are willing to do whatever it takes to protect your chosen family, even if it's not always easy. When people truly get to know you, you blossom. Also, you bang male prison guards.
Yeah, she's crushing it as far as the banging goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's a hottie.
He is a hottie.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Anyways,
banged him. I'm dying.
I got So-So, which is the little Asian girl.
Really?
Yes.
Let me see the picture. Oh, you got
the fucking hippie Asian girl. All right. Although some people,
talking?
I know.
That's the exact opposite of you. What is this quiz? Why are you
No,
doing this?
no. I think I took a different one. Anyways, although some people think that you are naive, you know that you are simply a passionate person who isn't afraid to stick up for what is right. That passion and optimism, there you go, help drive you in life and define your relationships with others. When you put your mind to something, you always follow through, and that's commendable. No.
No?
I got Alex Voss on the last one, so.
You did?
Yeah, which I was far happier about.
Oh.
She's my favorite during this one.
Alex is your favorite?
Yeah.
You know, I think Red, and I really came to
I
love
do
Norma.
like
That was
Red.
the last episode I watched, was the Norma episode.
Oh, it gets worse.
And
Yeah.
the Norma episode was great.
She's great.
You're
Norma,
great,
you're great.
You don't ever change Norma.
You don't have to respond.
So I believe you have a charity for the end of the podcast.
Oh,
We're hit
yeah.
that time. We're at 57 minutes almost.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do this quick so that I don't get upset. But,
Okay.
Hold on. Now
I
I lost
will
it. 'cause
shut
of this
up.
Damn.
And let us live in this serious moment. This was kind of a serious podcast, but that's okay, I feel like.
Yeah,
Right?
I guess.
This is called dead air in the radio
yeah,
industry.
sorry. Okay.
It's fine. I can. Are you good?
So, am I good?
Yeah.
Yes.
You feel good? You ready?
I'll have
Okay.
to send you the link to this because it's going to be very vague. But
That's fine.
so in the past couple of days, if you guys know that Mike went to Washington State
University.
And yes, and unfortunately, the president of their university passed away over the weekend.
Elson Floyd.
And I, one of my very best friends from high school, his younger brother actually passed last night from cancer as well. And he was also a Cougar. And so we thought it was important, one, to say that. And I hope they both rest in peace. But also there is a charity through Washington State that goes to their medical research for cancer. And I thought that was an important one to say this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to be, we're going to post that link on the
medical education. Yeah.
medical education
At Wazoo.
at
That's what
wazoo.edu.
well, hold on. No.
We'll find the link for you guys. But they actually, Wazoo's doing something kind of cool, and I guess I am kind of biased because this is something that I really, like I went there. But Elson Floyd, what he was actually really trying to push for was Wazoo to have a medical school.
Yeah, that's what
And,
I was just reading.
That's something, and so I think it's cool because UW has a very good medical school, and not to bring stupid college rivalries into it, you know, but like, and I think it would be cool. You want to have both colleges having things that are they competing, because I feel like when it's competition, things are better.
Right.
Does that make sense? You know,
yeah.
it
Well,
makes-
let's have two fantastic medical schools in the same state.
Exactly.
I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just better for everyone. So that's something he was. I mean, I met him. He was always like Elson Floyd. He was like the nicest dude in the world. And the big thing that happened when I was in school is they cut the department I was in, and he was always very much willing to talk to us, even when we were grieving, yelling, angry, stupid people. And he was like a really good guy. And it's really sad, and it depressed me, and it was it's very upsetting. But go support the medical thing because it's a really cool idea.
Well, and for Jordan, they had a fundraiser where you could buy T-shirts to support his medical bills. I'm not sure if they will bring that back. He fought stomach cancer for 2 years, and he put up one of the most amazing fights I've ever seen. And he actually got it in remission, and then it came back. So it was very But yeah, he had a fundraiser called Cougs Fighting Cancer, and I'm sure they'll bring that back, and we'll let you guys know more about that.
We will include links, but thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
We love you.
This is a somber episode, but we love you so much.
Yeah, because you're great.
Because you're great. Don't ever change.
Don't ever change.
And yeah, so this was a good one.
I love you.
I love you. Bye-bye.